That is correct. Yebo kunjalo ngishilo lokho ukuthi angiphuze ama-can out leke lesithathu-ke laliviliwe kodwa belingaphelele ushuthi-ke azange ngiphuze ngalitsheda.
Now, per your testimony yesterday, you testified that 2 intruders entered the house, and the first one with dreadlocks shot her, demanded phones from the people in the house, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And what were the exact words that were uttered by that person, the first suspect with the firearm?
He didn't say much. He only demanded the cell phones and money. That's it.
Yeah, but understand, what I'm asking you is the exact words that he said, if you recall.
Noma ngingasho exactly amagama awasho njobe njalo but engakhumbulayo ukuthi wafuna amafoni nemali. Ngibona ngikhumbulayo lokho.
Even though I cannot recall the exact wording, however, what I remember is the fact that he demanded the cell phones and money. That I can remember.
In what language did he demand cell phones and money?
isiZulu.
And what was his demeanor when he made the demand for cell phones and money?
Umbheka nje ube njani ubona ini kuyena beyiphethe kanjani ngoba efuna i-cellphone nemali ama-cellphone nemali
simangikusona ngangingenako ukuthi ngibheke umuntu ezifu ngibukele relaxing because uqala nginovalo phakathi nawuthuka yonke leyo nto so angeke ngibuke exactly emehlweni noma isikhathi eside.
My observation would not be an observation of a person that would be relaxed as though they are watching a movie. Remember, I also was shocked or was frightened. So my reaction to that type of a scene wouldn't have been a quite relaxed observation.
Now, did you see a firearm that night?
There was pet.
Yes, he was in possession of that firearm.
And how did that suspect with the firearm hold that firearm as he came in towards the hallway in the house?
Why is putting his hand right?
He had the firearm, or he held the firearm with his right hand.
Yes, but what I want to know, was it pointed at the people in the house with his hand outstretched in front, or was it holding it down?
Yeah, I expected it, but not like I expected his hand.
It was weird. It was wielded in that fashion, in other words, in a pointing form, even though he wasn't pointing at any person in particular, but it was in a pointing form. And I was able to see the barrel of that firearm. As I was positioned like that, when I looked at the firearm, I could then have access to the barrel of the firearm as it was wielded in that fashion.
Now, taking from what you said, that it wasn't pointed at a specific person, because remember, according to the photos that we've seen, there were 2 couches with 3 people on the side, 3 people on this side, and Kenny on the other side towards the passage. Did he move it around to show his dominance of the people in the house, or was it just in a fixed position but not particularly?
Ukwenza walenta kwenzekanga isikhathi eside so wangekubi nalento ukuthi ucheck yini ukuthi wenzani because ngabe sengisho ukuthi banginovalo phakathi.
Now this incident actually happened at the shortest time I can remember. One would not necessarily be having an opportunity to can observe what this person was doing in detail. Remember, I've already indicated that I personally was under shock as well, and that it could have been that I also took out my cell phone from within the pocket at that time.
Now, during that stage, did the gunman cock or wreck the firearm?
Regardless of stage. No, he didn't. He didn't cock the firearm. He just barged in there with the firearm wielded out.
Now, just to go back on something that you just mentioned before about the firearm, which position or from which perspective did you see the firearm, the front or the side of the firearm?
The barrel, the front side of the barrel of the firearm.
So you were literally staring down the barrel of a gun. What color was the firearm, if you recall?
Ngathi nje simnyamanyana kugile urusty kugile.
It was blackish, worn out, kind of rusty.
And just by using the dimensions with your hands, can you tell the length of that firearm?
Something sasingakanyana nje.
That could have been the estimated length of the firearm. I went a 40 foot.
Something sasingakanyana. Sasingasikhuluma because singaside.
What about 14 centimeters? About 14 centimeters. 20.
And then also, could you tell if the firearm had a wheel on the side, something that looked like a wheel or a retreating object on the side?
Ngabona ngathi so lesone vela mangisibuka but anjona ngisibukanga isikhathi eside nami.
I looked at it and like I have already said that I didn't take a lot of time to can observe that particular firearm, but it looked to me as though it was a firearm that had a wheel on it.
Now, prior to the events of the 26th of October 2014, had you seen the person that was holding the firearm in the house that night?
I'm just coming to the 26.
Yes.
Pangwe 26. I've never seen it before.
And after the incident of the 26th of August 2014, October 2014, I'm sorry, did you see that person again? Have you ever seen him since?
I've never seen him.
Now, would I be correct to say that the people that entered the house that night, the two suspects, were complete strangers to you?
Yes, those were unknown people to me.
Now, you testified, and if I understood your testimony correctly, is that you only saw the second suspect because you didn't immediately stand up when the rest of the people stood up to confront the suspects. So you only saw the second suspect later, correct?
Indlela aqhamuka ngayo bebalapha ngomnyango wena umuntu oqala umbonayo so lo munye wayengakaveli ngaleso sikhathi.
The manner in which he appeared in the scene and he stood by the door there, he was the very first person that one could see. And at
wayengakaveli ngaleso sikhathi esikhomba sasingakambona I don't think sasingakonsembonile.
the time that we were pointed with the firearm from this one who was in possession of the firearm, the other one had not appeared as yet on our side.
Okay. When did you see the second suspect for the first time then that night in the house?
Angithi lo uqala mayefika imali ayisikhomba efuna abafunda imali wasuma nomfana lo mphusha.
Now, isn't it so that the first one that came and pointed us with a firearm and he demanded the cell phones and the money, and there was this young man that stood up and pushed or thrust at him. Now, as he thrust at him, everyone else stood up because he thrust at him and then exited running out of the house. And then there was a stage where everybody then stood up.
Now,
at that stage where Kelly went and ran into the other bedroom that is just on the right, this is when, that was at that stage where I realized that there is now a second person or there is another person.
Okay, Mr. Banoi asked you yesterday, rather than saying this boy, this guy, mention people by name so that the record is clear as to who
we are talking about.
Yeah,
okay.
I understand.
So when you say that this guy pushed this one, you are referring to Longwe Twala pushing the first suspect?
Yeah,
yes, I was referring to Longwe Twala.
Now, this second suspect, what did he do when you saw him, at the time you saw him?
Ngicabanga ukuthi bezama ukuyongena la bedroom lethwele pushana senzo bezomncisa ngasesicabheni sekhishi.
I think he wanted to go into the bedroom, and it was at that stage that Senzo struggled together with him or wrestled together with him, and he pushed him and pinned him against the door.
Okay. Zandile Kumalo testified on that aspect in his court to say the second intruder then chased Kelly to the bedroom that is opposite the kitchen, directly opposite the kitchen when he entered the house. Did you see that happening?
Yes, I witnessed that.
But then I'm confused because you say Senzo then I think went to that person before. Clarify that for me. Senzo and the second intruder.
Angithi uSenzo the time kufika lokuqala elwa nalokuqala bebambeshulana lokuqala ni. So ila ngibone khona ke lo kathi balekele engene la ukukhe ikamereni esezake lo wesibili futhi angazi ukuthi wayiza kanjani nami ngoba uSenzo wayembambe nje isandla lesi. Ofisho ikonta ayiphethe esandleni ngoba bemphushela udongeni la ngase ngithi ngizama ukubaleka khona ke nango sempushelela udongeni la ngafika ngashaya khona la.
Isn't it so that there was a time that Senzo was also wrestling with his first one, and as he was busy wrestling with his first one, here is Kelly now running into the bedroom. At that stage, this is when I see the other one now appearing, and then it was Senzo now wrestling together with this one. Senzo was wrestling now he grabbed the second one and wrestled with him and pushed him against the wall.
So that I understand it, it's the confusion. Senzo, let's start here fresh. Senzo initially struggles and pushes and fights with the first suspect.
Yes. Wayengekho yedwa kodwa futhi khona lapho kulo Zandi. Yes. Okhona uZandi noma ngazandi.
Yes. Even though he was not alone there on that first struggle, because Zandi was there and Zandi's mother was also there.
Then ila khona ke abamba lo angazi mhlambe lo wayeza kuye or something lo mbamba lo suspect lo wesibili.
Right there, that is when he grabbed the second suspect. I don't know how did it come about, but he grabbed the second suspect.
And then
pushed him close to the door, just next to the kitchen door there.
And you mentioned, I think, just now that the second suspect, you say he had possibly something in his head.
Yes, indeed so. That is what I said.
Okay. And did you observe what that something was?
No, angibonanga but ngabona uSenzo ngendlela ambambe ngayo lesandla saka right because indlela ambambe ngayo ngesandla soku2.
No, I did not really observe what he was in possession of. I only observed the manner in which Senzo had grabbed him, grabbed his right arm, and he used his two hands to hold on to that right arm of the suspect.
But from your vantage point, did you see the second intruder in possession of any weapon?
Njengoba ngisho ukuthi bengeke ngiphonse amehlo wami kuyona yonke into eyenzakalayo because nami bengakhona bengarelaxi.
Now, as I've already pointed out, that I couldn't or I wouldn't be in the position to can observe everything that was happening in the house. Because even myself, I was in a frightened state.
Okay, just to clarify it, and with respect to Thokozisi Twala's testimony on that aspect, he testified that the second intruder was in possession of a knife. Did you see a knife?
Thokozisi kushuthi usho into ayibona yena. Mina angizange ngibe nasikhathi sokubona nje ngendlela ngoba ngithi ngiyonke uSenzo bambe nalo ngithi ngiphuma kahle kahle umthetho wami endlini.
No,
ethwele ngamakhona uSenzo wayipressele nalo.
No.
So angizange ngibone.
No, I did not observe the knife, as I've already indicated that at the time that Senzo was busy wrestling with this man, I also stood there as well and became a part of that. And whatever it is that is contained within Thokozisi's statement, that is what he witnessed himself, that has been reduced into writing. But I personally didn't see that.
And the second suspect, I'm not sure whether I've asked you this, but I'll ask it anyway. Did he say something or utter any words as he entered the house or during the incident?
There isn't.
And during the incident, did the first and the second suspect communicate amongst each other?
I did not observe nor witness that.
Now, yesterday, you lost me with respect to the descriptions of the two suspects that entered the house. Let's discuss first the description of the first intruder, the first suspect, the shot one with a firearm.
Now, I'm fishing in a matred, if I spoke, if I jacket to Mati Caramel.
He was shot, having dreadlocks, and he had worn a hat, and also was wearing a jacket, caramelish in color, and he had widened eyes or big eyes.
Okay. And I see when you describe the dreadlocks, you keep on doing this. What are you?
I'm a threat no size.
Yeah, the dreadlocks have got their size.
So I want to mate, mutaza, mate gaku, John Pundala, Natai Finala.
His were not as long. When you see me, sort of signaling with my hands, I am trying to describe the length of those dreadlocks, that this is how far those dreadlocks would go, or this is up to how far they could reach.
And were you in a position with the first suspect wearing the hat to see whether or not the dreadlocks were braided dreadlocks? You know what I'm talking about? There are these styles that they do, guys, braid them towards the back or whatever braid they prefer.
Because I'm too far so I villa, I'm a villa, I'm a moon, I'm villa.
Now, the visibility of those dreadlocks was starting from the temporal area going down. Look on the top of the head or the crown of the head. I couldn't see, because remember that he was wearing a hat, so I couldn't see on top of the head as to how those dreadlocks look like.
Let's go on to the second suspect. By what identifying features did you notice him?
Those being young, I should fitness sometimes you are able to go to Mundo before your mass.
Now, regarding the second person, even though one could fail to draw or to finish with the features that would be drawn about that particular person, but I said that if a person happened to have been a person that you saw or encountered, you will always recognize that person.
Mr. Madlala, I'm not gonna fight with you. I'm a very fair lawyer. If you don't understand the question, ask me to repeat it and answer a direct question directly, please.
I will understood. So you understand.
I agree. Yes. We are not here to fight. Yes, I agree.
Now let's try that question again.
Yes.
By what identifying features did you notice the second suspect?
If before, but
now, the first thing that I indicated was that as I walked into the courtroom, I was then able to see him, and I said to myself, this person I once met before, and the question could be that, where did I meet with this particular person? That's number one. I also remember him based on the beard, how his beard was actually trimmed. It was trimmed such that it has formed an O around his his mouth, upper lip, as well as the chin, so covering that area. That I saw, and as well as a bit of the hair here, just under the lower lip. And further, that he was tall in physique.
Now, let's talk about the beard here, beneath the lower lip. How pronounced or visible was that? How thick was that beard here?
I tried buying cool veil, even though I tried buying cool. I can't be cool. His name was a size, but I even cool.
Now, generally, that beard at that particular spot does not grow to be very bushy. I may not necessarily give a clearer description pertaining it, but it doesn't. It doesn't grow to be very, very thick and bushy, that one.
Now, accused number 2 instructs me that he's never had this beard here. In fact, it doesn't grow on him, and he's never had an O-shaped beard, like you say, the second suspect had. And furthermore, that he's always kept the goatee, the one that you see here in court, from as long as he can remember.
I don't know what is he intending with that. It means that I am insane in my mind. As far as now, the hand of the accused number 2 is on my back.
I mean, that's it, my lord. He's saying if the court is willing, he can come and have a look at him.
Which court?
If the court.
Which one?
Sorry, my lord.
Which court?
This one, my lord.
Honest.
No, sorry, the witness, my lord, not the court. Sorry, my lord. If the witness can be allowed by the court to go and have a look at him, that he's never had that beard that he testifies about.
He is inviting the witness to go to him.
Yes,
I will never come close to him. As he's seated there, he's actually my enemy. I will never. Even if he may want for me to come close to him, I won't go to him. There's this one thing, may I interpret this? There's this one thing that all these gentlemen here who are seated there should know about me. I don't care about them. I don't care, and I'm not even afraid of them. They're seated there looking at me like that. I don't care about them.
No, that's fine. What he was just saying is that as much as you are adamant that he had this beard, he's also adamant that he has never had it. That's the point.
I actually want to prove but
Now, whatever that he says, he's got the right to can prove it. However, on my side, I know what is it that I witnessed. I know what I saw. And it is there.
Now, I put it to you that the description by which you identified accused number 2 is vague and general, and it meets all sorts of thousands and thousands of men out there.
Yeah,
Now, the fact of the matter is that I am not here for any other man or any other person that I see. There is a person in particular that had led me to come and testify in this court.
In fact, I put it to you that that description of a beard below the lower lip, an O-type beard around the mouth, height, and a hoodie wouldn't assist the police in locating the perpetrator. If you said to the police, go and look for this perpetrator, descriptors.
I am available. Isn't it so that I'm the one that witnessed? I was in the house. I'm the one that saw him. So I am the one that saw him. And I'm here.
Now, before the intruders came into the house, you testified that you were watching or observing Kelly Kumalo narrating a story about different churches or whatever story she was narrating.
Yes, it is indeed so.
Now, how far was the first suspect from you where you were seated when you first noticed him?
I think we indicate to you that told me because this is told me I should be having shady whoopee.
Now, I think it was depicted in one of the pictures that I indicated that this is where I was seated at, and this is where the intruder came and stood at.
Yeah, but the picture doesn't show measurements of distance. They only depict the sofas and the hallway.
Uyabona-ke isithombe asisinikezi nje ibanga okanye-ke ama-distance kanjani.
Nama ngingikwazi ukukala ama-distance. Na inkinga engingaba ngizobhekana ngingikwazi ukukala ama-distance.
I also cannot measure distances.
Because yandli
That's my
incane.
problem, because that house is small.
Incane.
That house is small.
Now, the first suspect gets into the house, and Kelly's narrating the story. Did the first suspect do anything to Kelly before she ran to the bedroom?
Nah, akukho.
No, there isn't anything that he did to her.
Now, according to your version, is that Longwe Twala, out of the blue, stands up, approaches the suspect with a firearm, pushes him away, and then goes out of the house, correct?
Angibonanga ngisho esukuma lokho kusukuma ngathi ngizosuka aqala aba bese yabali angibonanga ngisho esukuma ngale wasuka nje straight eyomphusha la ngokukhulu ukushesha angibonanga ngisho iqala esukuma nje.
No, I didn't even see or witness him at the time that he stood up. What I saw was that he just took off and stomped at him, pushed him away, and then he exited.
I get to that everything was happening super fast.
I think they are made super fast.
Fast.
Yeah, ngokushesha.
Yes. I got a bit confused when you said super fast. Yes, fast, I agree.
And along the same idea, did you see where and how Longwe Twala pushed the first suspect?
Where in terms of the position?
Where on the body of the
Where on
second
the body?
suspect did
Okay.
Longwe push him?
Ayangibonakanga kwayilo ukuthi wamthinta kuphi kodwa ngikwazi wamphusha nje waseyaphuma.
I didn't take notice of that as to what particular part of the body did he actually come in contact with. All I know is that he just pushed him and then fled out.
I think lokho sezosiphendulela yena meza la icourt.
I think it will now be up to him to come and explain to the court.
Yeah, but I'm asking your recollection. You were there observing the incidents as they happened.
Yes, uqinisile ngalapho but ngangingobserve yonke into ungazuthi ngihleli mhlawumbe sengichaze kanye ngihlale ngibukele yonke into ungazuthi kumnandi.
Now you are, that is true. That there are certain things that I may have observed, but bear in mind, I wasn't just relaxed, as though now I'm watching something that was happening in front of my eyes.
Because omunye umqondo wami usetheni ngiphumile.
Because one of the things that I was thinking of was, I should also exit the house.
And at the time, Longwe, like, let's forget about standing up. You see him pushing the first suspect. Was the first suspect still pointing the firearm at the people in the house?
Yebo.
Yes.
And what did the second suspect do after being pushed by Longwe?
Lo wesibini ne? Lo wesibini.
Are we referring to the
Remember, Longwe pushes him. What happens to him? Does he stumble? Does he fall? What happens to him?
Uyawa or
Akawanga phansi.
no? He didn't entirely fall. He didn't fall to the floor.
What happened to him?
Still wayesamile but ukuthi wenza wayesamile kodwa zange awe like phansi.
He didn't fall to the floor. He was still standing.
And as Longwe is now, has pushed this first suspect, where's the second suspect in relation to this incident of Longwe pushing the first suspect?
Semnyango.
He was on the door, sir.
Umnyango lo wasekhishini wangasemnyango lwasekhishini.
He was along or by the door of the kitchen.
Let's clarify the door, because if you refer to the door, it's been used, different ways here. Are you referring to the brown door, the actual door, where there's a security gate?
I'm referring to the kitchen door.
Okay. And as Longwe is now, was he running? Was he walking out of the house?
I went kitchen.
He was running.
Did the first or the second suspect try to restrain him from running away?
Njengoba ngisho ukuthi angingikwazi ukumbona lo wesibili if ngingasumanga ngamalanga sekitchen la from where la ngikhona ngithi kunobonda awumboni umuntu lapho ubona lo seqhamukile kwena.
Now, as I've already indicated, that I wouldn't have been able to see the second suspect at the time because there is a wall that is between that kitchen area and as well as where I was. You can only see a person when he appears close to where I was at the time. So the second one, I couldn't see him.
So did the first suspect chase after Longwe?
Ngithakaza mgijimisi.
No, he didn't chase after Longwe.
Now your testimony further is that once Longwe had pushed the first suspect away and ran out of the house, it gave the people in the house an opportunity to stand up from the sofas that they were sitting at, correct?
Kunjani?
That is indeed so.
And that is the start of what has been termed by previous witnesses here as a scuffle in the house, right?
Wow,
Yeah, kunjani?
that is indeed so.
And this scuffle starts from the sitting room area and ends up deep in the kitchen towards the door. In fact, actually at the door.
Yebo kunjani?
It is indeed so.
Now, earlier on, and even yesterday, you stated that Senzo Meyiwa was now pinning the second suspect against the wall, holding the second suspect's arm with his two hands. That is Senzo's two hands, correct?
Yebo kunjani?
It is indeed so, yes.
And your testimony is that your crutches were used, but in particular, you vividly remember Zandi Kumalo hitting, was it the second suspect with a crutch? Was that your evidence?
Yeah.
Mina ngikhumbulelwa nalokuqala lokuyena wayenza ama-threat.
I remember her fighting with the first one, the one that had dreadlocks.
Yeah, yes, I understand that. But the one that she actually hit with a crutch, which one was that between the first and the second suspect?
Ngiyasho ukuthi ubekalwa nalo bebeshaya lo wama-threat lokuqala.
I am saying that he was, she was fighting, or they were fighting with the first one that was having dreadlocks.
Now, on that aspect, Zandi Kumalo testified in court as follows, that she then went and fetched a crutch from next to the heater where the crutches were.
Crutches ayitela emondeni nje liseduze ne-heater.
Yes, I agree. I concur with that. The crutches were just leaning against the wall, close to where the heater was.
And that she came into the kitchen to join the fight in order to hit the second suspect with that crutch.
I-statement sakhe leso but mina njengoba ngisho basukuma kuqala kunami njengoba basukuma uyena uma wakhe no-kid basukuma kuqala kunami.
That would be her version.
And
Like I have already said, that they were the very first people to stand up, and they accosted this person. It was herself, that is Zandi Kumalo, Kelly Kumalo, and Mrs. Kumalo Senior, or their mother.
And further, she testified that because of her stature being short and tiny, and there were people in front of her, she couldn't actually hit the second suspect. That's when you took the crutch from her and hit the suspect, the second suspect on the head with the crutch.
Ngiyakuzwa but angikhumbuli ngisebenzisa i-crush mina. According to statement sakhe asibhalile angeke mina ngisishintshe esakhe but angizikhumbuli nje ngithatha i-crush mina.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. Well, I do not remember taking a crush and hitting this person with it.
Ngamshaya ngenqindi mina.
I hit him with a punch. Or a clenched fist. I do not remember taking that would actually be her evidence. But I cannot change her evidence. I cannot change her statement.
Your evidence is that you then hit the second suspect with a fist, correct?
That's correct.
When did that happen in the context of the scuffle that was happening in the kitchen?
Ngalesi usenza ngibambele ngala.
At that time that Senzo had pinned him against the wall.
Now, it
was at the time that I had purpose to exit the house. And when I saw Senzo pinning him like that against the wall, that's when I decided, no, I'm no longer exiting the house. I then unleashed a punch against him.
Now, did the first and the second suspects fight back or retaliate as they were being assaulted by the people from the house?
I think ukuphuma kwesibhamu ikhona ababezama ukuthi basithuse ngako or benze into abayini because sathi masiqhuma isibhamu ngabaleka mina ngangena ekamereni.
I think the gunshot that was discharged could have been their attempt to disperse us or to ward us off, because after that, that's when I ran to go and hide myself with a camera, to hide myself in the bedroom.
Now, Mthokozisi Twala testified in his court that he was not part of the scuffle because he was protecting Christian from being harmed. So he watched the scuffle from his vantage point at the entrance passageway of the kitchen inside. What role did he play, if at all, Mthokozisi Twala in the scuffle?
Umthokozisi uqinisile Umthokozisi azi umuntu othanda ukulala ngesozo zakuthe ulile onjani so
He's telling the truth. He's not the kind of a person that likes getting involved in fights.
ubengekho la kwenzeka yonke lento so nje bengemuva angazi ukuthi wayenzani nje bethi ayizamprotect uChristian because Christian naye wayileke yaluza la.
He was not the part of that commotion that was happening there. He was just behind. I think he was indeed trying to protect Christian. I don't know what Christian was doing there, but he was trying to protect him.
And what role did Kelly Kumalo play in the scuffle?
Angingasho lo ngicamuzoyizela naye lo azoyichazela la ecourt lo angingasho wabamba yiphi part.
I don't know what part did he take or how did she participate in that scuffle. She will come and present her own evidence before this honorable court.
And your testimony is that after the first gunshot, you ran to a second bedroom that is the one next to the one where Kelly ran, and then you closed the door behind you, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, that is what I said.
And if I understood your testimony correctly yesterday, is that it is the very same room where Kelly's daughter Tingo was also sleeping at the time, correct?
100% correct.
100% correct.
And furthermore, that when you entered that room, you found that she was awake, probably woken up by the commotion and the noise in the house, correct?
Yeah, bunjani.
It is indeed so, yes.
And that when you ran to that room, you also took your phone with because you wanted to hide, or you hid your phone beneath the blankets that were in that room, correct?
No,
Bunjani.
it is indeed so.
Now, why didn't you call for help from your cell phone because you were now behind a locked room in the house at that stage? Why didn't you call for help because a gunshot has just been fired in the house?
Angazi methi ngazamthola usizo kwakuyi first time ngiyalowa muzi and angazi umuntu lapha abantu engibazi babela endini ngizolicela kubani usizo ngicela ngicacisele lapho futhi ngizocela kubani usizo.
I don't know how was I going to be in the position to seek for help. That was my first time going to that house. I don't know any person in that vicinity. The only people that I knew were inside of the same house in Jawa House. Perhaps you can try and clarify that for me.
Calling for help by dialing toll-free 10111.
Angazi ngayidala leyo number mina empilweni yami nje. Angazi ngayidala nokuthi ke if ukulesa simo bona makwaba senkingeni awufani umuntu ongakazi abe enkingeni umuntu ongazi abe enkingeni ubulu khuluma ukuthi awenzanga ngani kanje so kulesa sikhathi ngangibona ngaphansi kwesinye isimo hayi lesi sinjengalesi.
Now I've never used that number before, and the circumstance that I found myself under, it was an unusual circumstance, and as a result, I couldn't even think of doing whatever that is expected of me. A person who has never been in a predicament, it would be easy for them to say that, why couldn't you do that, than a person who is in a predicament. So in other words, a person that is in a predicament experiences the challenge differently than that one that was never in a predicament.
Now, having listened attentively to your testimony and about the robbery incident, the ineptitude and the lack of preparation by the alleged suspects, I'm led to believe that we are dealing with one of Mzansi's dumbest criminals. Would you agree?
Mawusigibela nje ufana uziyofunda. Kube ngawe isigibela ufundile, mawusigibela ungafundanga. So ucabanga ukugibela kufana.
You don't have to go to school to be a criminal. You can be a criminal that hasn't gone to school. You can also be a criminal that is well versed.
You see, the reason I'm asking you is for the following propositions. According to your testimony, this is an armed robbery for money and phones. Yet people in the house, one, Zandile Kumara testified that the minute that demand was made, she hit her phone beneath the cushion where she was sitting.
Yeah, but angeke ngakhuluma kakhulu ngozandile Mr. Ramosepele because istatement sakhe leso official nami indlela ngeke ngikube wonke umuntu uphenzana umuntu seseyinakela ngaleso sikhathi.
Now I cannot speak on behalf of Zandile. That's her statement, Advocate Ramosepele. And mind you, I also am inside of the house. I cannot be monitoring every move that is done by every person who's inside of the house.
And two, Makumano's phone is charging right at the kitchen on top of a stove somewhere. But the intruders don't take it.
Angeke ngachaza ke lo ngifuna ukuchaza ukungena kuloka ngoba akubhalwanga yimina so bengingajabula umbuzo yakho mayingaqonda exactly entweni ibhalwe yini so le bhalwe umuntu uzozizela ine court ayichazeleni ukuthi usho ukuthi ngabe ngiyenza kanjani into kanje yabo.
Well, I cannot be explicit on that one. This is something that was not narrated by myself. It is not something that was not written by me. I would really appreciate if the questions were really have to do with myself, what I observed or witnessed. I can't say anything pertaining to what I said. For your information, my phone was in my possession.
And three, Longwetwala, who possibly has got a phone or cash on him, is also allowed to leave the house without being searched for sale.
Ubani uthwele imali lo?
Who says that Longwe was in possession of the cash?
And four, the intruders do not even search the people in the house for money and cell phones.
I think mawuzosesha umuntu kufanele ube nendlela ozomlalisa ngayo or umise ngendlela ozomisa ngayo so sasingeke ukuphusha umuntu asibanjise udongora sasilaliswe phansi so babezosesha kanjani?
How are they going to search us? I think that if you have to search a person, you must position them in a conducive, position that would allow you to be able to search them. Perhaps you can even tell them lie down or stand against the wall. So all of us were not instructed to do that.
And lastly, the intruders, one of them armed with a firearm, are assaulted by people in the house who are barely armed, crutches and spoons and fists, but they do nothing to retaliate. And
correct. They do nothing. The evidence I'm listening to is that a firearm went off and Senzo apparently got injured and subsequently died.
Okay, let's get that one. Let me draw that one. Now you've testified and I've listened to you said you were scared when the intruders entered and the suspect pointed or wielded or brandished the firearm in the house, correct?
Yeah,
it is so.
Now, by your estimation, and give me the best, your educated guess, from the moment the suspects arrived, the scuffling, the shooting, and the suspects leaving, the entire incident, how long did it last?
Let's not come so long. It wasn't a long time. It wasn't a long time.
More than 10 minutes.
I would estimate that it was not more than 10 minutes.
Now, and I'm not saying that you are wrong, but by his estimation, Thokosi Sitwala estimated that the entire incident lasted about 5 minutes. Would that be the same region?
Angeke ngaphikisa ukusho ngithokoze Sithwala ngeke futhi ngiphawule kakhulu ngakho njengoba nami ngisho ukuthi akubanga more than 10 minutes so angikho kuyona exithande isikhathi ngicabangela sona nami.
Now, as I've already indicated that the 10 minutes that I am referring to could just be an estimated time. What Mtawazisi is saying, I cannot dispute it. It may as well have been 5 minutes, and I don't want to remark on what he had said. My estimation could be about 10 minutes, or perhaps even just around there. Even that 10 minutes, I'm uncertain of it.
Now, yesterday when you testified, you stated that you and the second suspect, whom you now identify as accused number 2, were very close to each other during the transpilation of the events of the night of the 26th of October 2014, correct?
Yes, that's what I said.
And he was wearing a hoodie all along through this incident transpiring, correct?
Yeah, wayifakile ukuthi kodwa ngendlela kokubanjwana ngayo uyayisigumile nayo ukuthi.
Now,
Isiqosayo.
yeah, he was having a hoodie on his head, but given the fact of that commotion and how the scuffling was taking place, it had already had uncovered the head.
That's a new fact that you are adding here. You've never said that in your evidence in chief.
Shutha ukhumbula kahle mthela mfana ngayisho nalento phambilini I think ngangibuza uadvocate Tumelo. Ngayisho lento futhi wena ungakhumbuli kahle.
It means you are the one that is not recalling, because there was a stage where Advocate Tumelo asked me that same question. Yes.
Let's be clear. If you look here, this is not Judge Maumela. These are new proceedings. All of those proceedings legally are nullified. So whatever you said there doesn't apply here.
Yeah, but
I was not even there back then. There were other advocates that were here.
Mr. Ramosepele ngimdala mangaka. Ngiyayibona yonke into la ikhodi. There's no need ukuthi umgazele.
No,
Ngizama ukuklarify la ukuthi uthi angikaze ukusha. Ngayingakusho before ukusha mina mengakusho before. Ngiyakuthola yini.
look, I'm adult enough. I can observe, I can see what is happening in this court. I know what is it that I had said previously, and that is what I had said previously.
I understand that you are old, but also this is part of, you are not a legal person. I was explaining to you, I'm not undermining you. I told you I don't do that.
Ngiyakuzwa lapho nane case ngiyazi ukuthi ishintshiwe ujaji and ujaji wathi iqala phansi ngisasebenza into indala. Yona ngisho nayikusho before because uthi angikaze ngisho ukuthi kunyu futhi into engekho kumina ngingazi ngisho.
Yeah, no, it was explained to me that the previous proceedings were nullified, and I am just merely answering you based on the fact that you have said that it is new, and based on that, I'm now saying that it is not new. Because there's something, this particular point, it's what I had said previously. I made mention of that previously.
Now, did you have an opportunity to look into the face of the second suspect there at the scene?
Nombuza ngazi ukuthi ngizophendula ngokuthini. Ngeke ngikwazi ukukhomba umuntu ngithi nangu ngiphinde ngingamkuthi ngimbona ngimkhomba kanjani ngimbona.
I don't know how to actually answer that particular question. I cannot just at random point at a person and say this is the one when I didn't see that particular person at the scene of the incident. How can I do that?
You can do that because the only thing that you saw on his face was his mouth and beard.
Ungakwenza lokho ngoba yinje into oyewayibona lapha ebusweni bakhe umlomo namadevu wakhe when master sharp.
Mawucontrola wena ngicela ukubuza wena mawucontrola wena ushaya umuntu angithi uyazi ukuthi umshala or umshaya so uzomshaya kanjani ebusweni ngambukanga.
Now, if you have to be in control of what you are doing yourself, and now you have to launch a punch against a person or hit a person at a particular point in their body, how can you hit a person on the face when you are not looking at them as, or aiming at their face to unleash a blow against their face? It could be on the face, it could perhaps be on the abdomen, but how could you just unleash without looking at a particular person?
My Lord, I see it's approaching 20 past 11. Okay.
Because ngathi mangibuza lo iphoyisa after that kwafika lo mfundisi bengichaza ukuthi uyena ongisekamereni so angazi wasala kwenzakalani.
I cannot explain that. Because after I was interviewed by this police officer, then came this clergyman or the reverend that arrived there, and he took me into the bedroom, and I couldn't therefore continue to be observant of what was happening with the rest of the people that were inside of the house.
Yes, what I'm trying to get is that we know for sure that the one person that did not come back was Mtokozi Sitwala, because he went and stayed at the hospital, correct?
So,
oh yeah. Azangabuyi masiphelelisi.
Yes. When we came back from the hospital, he didn't come with us.
And then you Zandile Khumalo, Kelly Khumalo, Makhumalo, and Longwe Twala, did you return to the scene from hospital?
Akwalonga ngikhumbuli ngimbona, that is why ngingafuna ukuthi angikhumbuli ngimbona because mangibuya mina ngabuya nomunye umama nje ngalo umakhelwane so laba abanye ba travela ngayo imoto le yasethu.
I did not see Longwe. I wouldn't want to remark or to give my remark pertaining Longwe. Because upon I returned to the house, I didn't see him. I came back with a lady. I should think that she may have been a neighbor there. But I had embarked in a vehicle. And the rest of the people, they were in a different mode of transport as well.
Okay, let's remove Longwe because you can't recall him being banned.
Asemkeep.
So, the point that I'm trying to get from you is this. When you were interviewed, were Zandile Khumalo, Kelly Khumalo, Makhumalo also present in that room when you were interviewed by the police officer?
Yebo, babekhona. No, ngiyawasegcina amaphoyisa abanye ngoba nami le statement ngasenza ngimenge inyawo emile nayo le phoyisa le ngithetha so.
Yes,
Babekhona.
they were there. They were there because even myself, at the time that I was finishing the statement to the police, I was standing, because there were now numerous police officers that had already then came into the house.
So let me get this straight. So individually, you were interviewed by a separate police officer, Zandile is a separate police officer, and the like with Makhumalo and Kelly Khumalo at the same time.
Angisho kanjalo. Angisho ngiyokuthi angibonanga bona ba interview aho ba napa amaphoyisa exactly.
No, that is not what I am saying. Like I have said, that I did not witness them being interviewed by the police officers, or which police officers interviewed them.
And do you recall if that police officer who was interviewing you was taking notes for the purposes of recording that interview with you?
Ukhumbula yini ukuthi ngoba lokukhuluma yena ubeloko eloba nje phansi?
Yebo.
Yes, I remember that. It was being reduced into writing.
And I believe yesterday, correct me if I'm wrong, you testified that at some stage, I'm not sure whether it was on the same day or some time later, but Chico Twala came to Malbatin and you all had to explain to him what had transpired on the 26th of October at the Khumalo household. Is that
I don't think that is entirely correct. The witness didn't say they had to explain what happened. He says he was only introduced as Senzo's friend, and Mr. Chico Twala then mentioned that she wants to take this Khumalo out on a holiday.
Yeah, that's correct.
Now, you identified that you identified accused number 2 for the first time here in court in your testimony. We are not talking about the previous time, we are only talking about these proceedings.
That is correct. I identified accused person number 2.
And from my understanding, the crux of your doc identification is that once you've seen a face, it's not easy to forget it, and also because of the beard, the height, and the hoodie, correct?
Oh, yeah, that is correct.
Now, you have never previously identified accused number 2 at any ID parade or photographic lineup before, correct?
Yebo kunjalo because akaze vele ngibizwe kwi-ID parade ekhona vele.
That is indeed correct.
And I may even extend your statement to say that you've never also attended an ID parade where accused number 1 was present as well, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Yebo.
And accused number 2 was arrested in June 16, 2020. Did the police come and tell you that they've arrested suspects in this matter?
Yeah, ngiyakwazi ukuthi khona baboshwa. Ngakuzwa lokho yes.
Yes, I heard about that there are of those suspects that were apprehended.
Now, when did you first see photos or images of the second accused after his arrest in 2020?
Angazi ukukhuluma ngaziphi ithombe, usho ziphi ithombe ukuthi ngazibona.
I don't know which photographs are you referring to. Would you say that I had seen or which I saw? Which photographs in particular?
Let me say perhaps from mass media, internet, or social media.
Yeah, ngangazibona ephepheni.
I once saw them in a newspaper.
And would you recall when was that? Just about a rough estimation, 2020, 2021?
Ayi noma ngasakhumbula unyaka kodwa noSifiso Meyiwa okwafika ekhaya ephethe iphepha nje la bantu laba for kushiwo befake ama-mask la ngathi ayindwangu nje wangibuza ukuthi ubani wabudula uSenzo.
No, I may not necessarily remember clearly the time or which year in particular, but I remember there was a stage where Sfiso came, having a piece of a paper that was depicting, the pictures of the people or the suspects, and they were wearing some form of masks in that picture. It was detailing them as wearing masks.
And when the accused number 2 was arrested in 2020, and after having knowledge that there are people that are arrested and seeing the picture, like I say in the newspaper, did you then go to the police to say, I can now recognize accused number 2 as the first intruder that I saw in the house on the 26th of October 2014?
Angikhumbuli bevela bengafakanga ama-mask emaphepheni. Mostly bevela befaka ama-mask isanda kwenzeka isanda kuboshwa ngasho kanjalo befaka ama-mask.
I do not remember them appearing in the papers without masks. When they appeared in the papers after they were arrested, the masks were on, so they were wearing masks.
If I may ask you, did you subsequently, after the newspaper article that was shown by the deceased brother, did you then see further photos of the accused without masks on after the COVID pandemic?
Yeah, ngikhumbula.
No, I do not remember.
Now, if I may refer you to a statement that you made, which is A2210, is it 216? 216. This is not clear. My Lord, it's a statement that was discovered to us. It was taken on the 5th of November 2020 at 1918 by, who took this estimate? Okay, it was taken by Colonel Geninda. He was colonel by then, but I think now he's a brigadier. Do you have that document in front of you?
No,
Yes, I
have. Yes, I have.
Now, the document in front of you, do you know who Colonel Geninda is?
Yeah.
Yes, I know Brigadier Keninda.
And to recollect your memory, like I said, the statement is 5 November 2020 at 1918. It's here in Pretoria. And when this statement was made, did you and the person that made this statement speak the same language?
Ulimi olulodwa kanjani language?
Yes.
Sikhuluma isiZulu.
Yes.
Yeah, sikhuluma isiZulu.
And
Yes,
then
we were conversant in Zulu.
how was the statement made? Where you, because I see it's Colonel Geninda's handwriting, so he was asking you questions and you narrated the answer back to him and he wrote it down, correct?
Ngiyacabanga because isayinwe yimi ngiyacabanga impela ya.
I think it was like that because I'm the one that had signed the statement. It may have been like that.
Manje sifundeki isi handwriting yala.
I'll try to read it because I just want to read only the second paragraph of thereof, but I just want to make sure that, like you say, having been satisfied with the document, you then signed it and you say you see your signature on
Oh yeah,
the
sure.
document, correct?
Vote.
Yeah, masayinwe yimi nakushuthi ngiyasenza ngayenza yes.
Then let me try to,
If it was signed by myself, it means I'm the one that finished that statement.
if I may read it then to you, paragraph 2 thereof.
Let's beg a paragraph 2.
It says, the colonel asked me if I will be able to identify any of the suspects I saw when the offense took place in October 2014. I informed the colonel first. What? This incident took place a long time ago, and I'm not sure if I will be able to identify them again. I indicated to him that I am not sure, and in brackets it says 50-50. You see that?
50-50.
What does that 50-50 represent? Yes, I see the 50-50.
50-50.
I don't remember saying 50-50.
It is there, and you appended your signature to the document.
Sorry?
I beg yours?
I mean, it's written there. I didn't manufacture that. It's in the document, and you signed the document.
All right, akulungile qhubeke because
Okay, it's fine.
akanayo impendulo ukuthi Tumelo ngisho naye akawazi.
You can proceed because you don't have the answer as to what does that 50-50 represent. Okay. So you can proceed.
Yes, but the essence of the statement that I've just read to you is that in 2020, you informed Colonel Geninda that you perhaps may not be able to identify the suspects that you saw because the incident happened a long time ago, correct?
Yenzekile kudala kakhulu.
Ngicela ukulungisa lo phutha angikaze ngithi ngeke ngikwazi. I'm not sure if ngisazokwazi ukubabona. Ngisho
I didn't
ngeke
say
ngikwazi.
that. I
Isinto
didn't
asithi
say-
nje sona.
I didn't say
I'm
that
not sure
I
naso
cannot identify them. I just said that I am not sure
if ngisazokwazi.
if I will be able to. Not that I cannot.
Yes. Because basekudlula isikhathi eside mos.
Because that had been a long time that had passed after the incident transpired.
Okay, let me read that again, especially the part that says, and I read, I informed the colonel first. These incidents took place long time ago, and I am not sure if I will be able to identify them again.
Yes,
Yeah, kunjengoba usho nje.
it is indeed as you say.
Well, what does it mean? Explain it to me.
Oh,
Advocate ngicela mangifika la ube khona inkulumo ke wayikhuluma.
Advocate, I think there is something
Failure
that
or
you
something.
said.
Sayikhumbula.
There's something that you said to the effect of fading.
Sayikhumbula leyo.
Do you remember that you spoke something that
Or
has to do with
memory
fading?
fading. Yes.
So reason ngibhala kanje because bengingazi noma ngisazokwazi ukubabona until ngize ngize court because angaze ngibe ID parade.
Now, the reason why I finished the statement like that was because I was uncertain of the fact that I will be able to point them until I came to court and saw them.
Yes, but my understanding is that you say then you are 50-50, but you come to court today and yesterday, and you are adamant that accused number 2 is the person that you saw as intruder number 2 in the house.
Okokuqala nje ngingakusho since ngiza la court ngimbona kwabuya lokho ngambona ukuthi uyena lo and ngisazomkhomba even ngaphela 20 years noma ngaphela because ngiyambona mina.
This is one thing that I want to make it clear. Since I came to court and I saw him, I could recognize him. Even after 20 years, I can still point him out.
So mase sibuyela kule statement. I-statement angicabanga ukuthi sikhona la siphika khona sithi I will no angeke ngiyenze leyo nto.
Now,
Angeke ngikwazi.
coming back to the statement, I do not think that there is a part of the content of the statement that explains to the effect that I won't be able to point out.
Yes.
You see, all we have is your say-so. We have your ipsa dixit that you'll never forget a face, when in fact you've never even previously given any specific general features of the person, like I'm saying. You only gave the beard, the height, and the hoodie. So there's no standard to judge this identification of yours here in court today against a previous identification.
I will put a look sure advocate.
I think what you are saying is a mistake. It's an error.
Umuntu nje ngikathi chaze qala umbekwa kwambona ngaphambilini. Angeke ukhohlwe yena.
Now, like I have explained earlier, once you have seen a person before, it is not, you won't be able to forget that person.
I'll leave that point for argument. I think I've made my point. Now, let me go to this aspect now. A certain Miss Ntabise Mokete testified in this court, and she testified that she's Miss Mapiri one of the Kumalos neighbors and friends of Ma Kumalos. She's the sister to Mapiri, opposite
Wakusho ke
the
lokho ukuthi
Kumalo
yena
household.
Oh.
Now, her testimony is that at the hospital, when Senzo was taken there, she borrowed two of her cell phones to the people from the house so that they can make calls from her phone. I'm not sure for whatever reason why she borrowed them the phone, but she did.
ngiyabuzwa lokho.
Are you,
I hear that.
are you one of the persons that was borrowed a cell phone by a lady at the hospital to make a call?
ngayithola vele ifoni ngisazi nganginikwa ubani
I did.
angazi nganginikwa but ngayikhona ifoni ngayithola ngafona ngayo because eyami ngisingesena airtime.
I did receive a phone call from a person. I cannot recall who that person was. Yes, indeed, I did receive a phone call. A phone, and my phone, I was not in possession of. It didn't have
Airtime, yes.
airtime. Ubungayiphethe noma ubungena airtime.
Bingenathi bekhona.
Because
Yes.
my apology. Let me correct that. My cell phone did not have airtime. Not that I was not in possession of it, but I did receive a phone call from a person whom I cannot remember who the person was.
Lo maphira ngeke ngimkhombe makuthiwa ngihlangana naye angimazi.
Even that Mapiri, I won't be able to point her out, even if it means that there's an opportunity for me to meet her, because I don't know her.
Now, do you recall at the hospital on the 26th of November whether or not you called Noktula Hazel Klope to inform him about the unfortunate demise of Senzo Meyiwa?
Angikhumbuli ngifone nokuthula. I think into engamfonela uSifiso Meyiwa.
I don't remember phone calling Noktula.
Yena umuntu engimkhumbulayo ngamfonela.
I do not recall phone calling Noktula. The person that I remember to have made a call to was Spiso.
Nabantu basekhaya ke.
And my family members.
Nomuntu engangithanda naye wayesemlazi because wakwazi ukunyuka asuke ekhaya ayika kaMeyiwa.
And,
Ngayo
the
lo
per-
suku.
and that person that I was in a love relationship with, I also informed that person because I was able, to travel from Mlazi and to come to the site, but the very same night.
But you know who Hazel Noktula Klope is, correct?
Ngiyamazi.
Yes, I know Hazel Noktula Hlope.
And who is Mlungisi Hope Klope?
Bengingamazi ngalelo gama ngase ngathola ukuthi uba umuntu engimazi because ngimazi ngelinye igama bizwa ngala hayi leli ngilithole nje lelo sengihamba ikhodi but ngiyamazi yena.
Yes, I know him, even though I didn't know him by that name. There's a different name that I know him with. And I eventually found out that it is the person that I actually know, which I know of a different name.
Yeah.
As we're attending
Bizwa ngalo
court.
gama.
I could always hear about that name, but I didn't know who that person was.
I want to refer you to a statement of Mr. Mlungisi. Sorry, I said Hope. It's Mlungisi Edward Klope.
Basamuri sakhe.
Asilenge phansi.
And unfortunately, from our discovered document, we don't know the signing page when this statement was made and who took it. Perhaps if the state can assist us with the last page. It's A6 of. It doesn't show who took it and commissioned it, so I'm not sure how we going to.
Because the state attitude to the left.
Objectives against the use of the statement before my court, especially in light of the fact that it doesn't appear as if it was commissioned.
My Lord, perhaps if it can be admitted provisionally.
I can admit something which was never commissioned. It's like the second docket.
Ngingayiphendulela
That's
kusona.
indicated that they will call Mr. Hlope. I think they should await that opportunity.
Kanti nami ke ngingayiphendulela ungaqhubeka nje usize ngayiphendulela ngibona inkinga.
No, it's fine.
I can reply to this one. I don't see any problem.
So we're going to call Mr. Hlope.
My Lord, I'll wait for that. Maybe others will use it differently.
Okay.
Let me see where I am, my Lord. That's it. Now, Mr. Madlala.
Are we already done with the
Statement.
statement?
ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi why singalokhu singayenzanga lento ekufanele senziwe yona if kuyi-statement esabhalwe umuntu nami fanele ngithole impendulo
I also want to know.
njengokusiletha kumina kusho ukuthi sibhalwe ngami
I also want to know why is it that this is a statement that wasn't commissioned, and the fact that it is brought to me, it is a statement that has to do with me as well. So I want to know why has it not been commissioned like any of the other statements that were commissioned.
and angazi ngifundelwe sona ngifuna ukufundelwa sona ngisazi ukuthi siphetheni
And I also want this statement to be read back to me. I want to know what is contained in that statement.
yes
Well, in the eyes of the law, it's not a statement, because it cannot be shown that it was commissioned. So it's
commissioned.
inadmissible.
To get act.
ngiyavuma nkosi yami kusho kona ukuthi vele into engekho kusona lithi izwa singakhomishiniwe into engekho lela kusona
Yeah, no, I agree, my lord. That means whatever it is in here, it doesn't exist. That is why it wasn't commissioned.
and mina ngizofuna nomuntu esabhalwa ngaphansi kwakhe azosichaza la ecourt ukuthi sabhalwa nini wayisithathe kanjani why isibhalwe ngo-2019 ever since usenzo eshone 2014 2015 besikuphi 2016 besikuphi 2017 besikuphi 2018 besikuphi why sovela ngo-2019
I would also want answers from the person that actually reduced the statement into writing, to give answers to the effect that why is the statement taken on, only in 2019? Where was the statement after the passing on of Senzo? Where was the statement in 2015? 2016, why was it not taken? 2017, 2018, why was it not taken there? I want those answers.
if sibaleke ngaleyo ndlela ukuthi subufakazi benkantolo kwafanele silethwe ngawo 2014 osibe lapho ko-2015 hayi 2019 and ubani wayephethe licala ngo-2019 ngifuna ukwazi
If it is that important before this honorable court, why was it not taken in 2014, at least the latest 2015? And who is this particular person that had actually taken this statement? And I also want to know. I want to know.
We will find out in due course, Mr. Madlala.
So-
If you need to come and answer, you'll be recalled again once this person has testified.
okay angakujabulela lokho
I'll be very happy about that.
Now let's move on to the last aspect of what I want to touch with you quickly. And I'll start first by saying that the truth of what happened in that house on the 26th of October 2014 is known only by the following persons.
Now-
It's yourself,
Wena,
Kelly Kumalo,
Kelly Kumalo,
Zandile Kumalo,
Uzandile Kumalo,
Makumalo,
Umakumalo,
and Mtokozi Sitwala.
Nobezi Sitwala. Yabuzwa lo?
ngiyakuzwa but ngicela ukukhulume ngami la mina yilo leqiniso lisho yilo leli engilisho la yilo leli
I
engilikhuluma
hear what you are saying. The truth that you are talking about is the truth that I am presenting before this court. The one that I'm talking about right now, that's the truth.
And further, I will put to you that there were no intruders that entered that house on the 26th of October 2014 that
There's a
shot
look, okay?
and killed Senzo Meyiwa.
ngiyakuzwa ukuthi uthini
I
ma
hear
ukuthi
what you are
unempendulo yokuthi ubani ngicela ungitshele manje ukuthi ubani
Now,
ngoba
if you-
ngingenanga muntu angithi usho kanjalo
Now, if
ngitsheleke ukuthi ubani
that is what you are saying, then you've got the answer as to who actually did it. Because at this point, you are saying, or at this point in time, you are saying that there are no intruders that had access to the house. Now, tell me now,
or else uhlawumpisele ungenani ungitshele ukuthi ubani so lethi ngizokuphendula
at least you should tell me who it was, so that I can then be able to answer you or respond.
Those are the propositions
to-
I'm putting to you. If you want any clarification, re-exam will come with my legal colleague, Mr. Baloyi.
because ayikho lento oyishoyo
Because what you are
amanga la
saying-
oyishoyo
whatever you are saying, it doesn't exist. All that you are
Ngiyaxolisa.
saying, it's lies.
ngiyaxolisa uma ngisho ngathi angihloniphi ukuthi anginaso isikhathi sokudlala mina ngengivele ngisuke ngize la ngizoqamba amanga
Look, I
Anginaso
apologize
isikhathi
if it sounds as though I am being disrespectful, but I don't have time to play.
and lokho kusho ngakusho because vele usesayidini lalabantu abadefendayo
Now, whatever that you are saying, you are privy to saying it because you are on the side of the people that you are defending.
and ngingathanda ukuthi ungitshele ukuthi uma ngizoqamba amanga ngobani isiphi izathu ukuthi ngiqamba amanga
I
ufuna
would
unginike
also
izathu
I would also wish to receive that information pertaining to the fact or to the allegations that I am lying, that you should substantiate that. And what would be the reason for me to lie?
ayi kumnandi mina because aniyazi impilo engiphilile ngenxa yale case
It's actually good to you It feels good to you because you don't know what I underwent because of this case.
Are you done?
Njengoba ngikhuluma nje kusho khona sengiqedile.
Since I'm not saying anything, it means that I'm done.
You see, at the beginning, Mr. Madlala, with the utmost respect to you, I've told you I'll never disrespect you, and now I don't expect you to disrespect me. I'm doing my job as a defense
Uyakwenza
counsel.
disrespect amawuthi angena ngamtendlini ngangikhona bangena abantu. Usho ukuthini mawusho njalo? Because mina ngangikhona. Uyangidisrespect amawusho njalo.
You are
disrespect engishoyo.
You are disrespecting me. You are disrespecting what I am saying.
Please.
Because I am telling you of what transpired.
You don't have to argue with counsel. Counsel is here to
Yeah,
defend his
artificial.
client. Just answer the questions you are being asked.
Yes,
Okay.
Ngiyakuzwa nje.
Understood, my lord. Ungaphikisani naye. Wena uphendula nje umbuzo. Akubuza umbuzo umphendule.
Ngiyaxolisa ukuthi engikhathele into ukuthi kuthiwa ngena ngamtendlini. Yo, sengikhathele leyo nto. Ayikho into yamanga.
I apologize. It's only that I'm now fed up. I'm tired of the fact that they are saying, or it is being said, that there is no one that intruded the house.
Now, Kaya Nglashe, one of the neighbors of the Kumalos, testified that as soon as they learned that there were alleged intruders in the Kumalo household, he and other community members went to the park where it was said the alleged intruders had run to, and they searched the park for about 12 minutes, and they found no suspicious persons in the park.
Angeke ngangena kakhulu lapho kodwa masuyibheka nawe advocate leyo nto wena ungenza umonakalo la uphinde ube la awuyicabangisise leyo nto.
Now, I will not get or delve too much into that. You cannot be here and still cause some damage right there in the same vicinity. It is not possible. You can also think about it.
He testified that after searching for about plus minus 12 minutes, they returned directly to the Kumalo household, and as he entered the Kumalo household in the passageway near in the kitchen entrance near the passageway, he saw Senzo lying on his back in that position. That they tried to make him sit down, and that's when he realized and others that he was injured, and therefore he then assisted the people that in the house, especially he remembers Mtokozi Sitwala, to go and load Senzo in the X6 BMW to take him to hospital.
Okay.
Ubani ukhaya ubani?
Who's Kaya?
Neighbor.
Okay.
Ngicela nje sihle kancane mekethi wabajaha abantu wayiphetheni ukhaya.
Man, can we just go back a bit? When he says that he chased after these people, what were they in possession of?
Ngathi umuntu ade eqhumisa isibhamu edubula la uphinde umjahe uba bephetheni ezandleni la.
What were they in possession of?
Let's not digress, Mr. Madlala.
The person.
Let's not be a debate, please.
Okay.
The point that I'm trying to show to you is that in the time that the community members and Kaya Ngwashe went to look for and search for the suspects and come back in the 12 minutes, Senzo Meyiwa was still lying in the house without medical care or being taken to hospital.
Usho ukuthini manje bengatholi usizo?
Now, what do you mean that he wasn't receiving any medical help?
His testimony is that, and I'm not going to answer the questions from you. This is the last time
Manje,
because
again,
it's relevant.
Nama ngeke ngikwazi ukuphendula ngestatement sakakhaya. Uphendula ngesami.
Even myself, I cannot reply you based on Kaya's statement. I will reply to you based on my version of events.
Now, were you there when Senzo was loaded into the X6?
Yebo kunjalo.
Yes, I was there when he was loaded into the X6.
Now, what I'm putting to you in that regard is that during that 12 minutes, you, Kelly Kumalo, Makumalo, and Tumelo Madlala failed to call an ambulance or EMS for Senzo Meyiwa, who was lying prone in the kitchen.
He's Tumelo.
Oh, yeah, Tumelo. So, Mtokozisi.
No, Mtogo.
Sazama ukuthatha usenzo simfaka emotweni. Understand kuma bethi azangathole usizo ukuthi kanjani. and ngingachaza futhi phambili ukuthi njengoba sikhuluma nje nawo advocate akufani nomuntu osuke ethukile nomuntu osuke engakholwa lento yenzakalile. State of mind isuke singafani nalesi isuke njengoba ngila nje.
I don't know what does the advocate mean when he says that there wasn't any help that was given to Senzo, because it was not the circumstances under which we had to furnish our help to Senzo were not as relaxed as one could be currently. You know, how one was doing under such circumstances, it's not as easy as the advocate is actually putting it. We tried to put him into the vehicle.
And your testimony at the beginning is that after the first shot, you ran into a bedroom and your ears were ringing and you were, for lack of better word, you were temporarily deafened, correct?
Yes. That is correct. Temporarily deafened. Yes, it is so. It is so.
So you'd agree with me that you don't really know what transpired in the kitchen after you had left the kitchen to run to the bedroom, correct?
Yes, it is indeed so, advocate.
And would you also confirm that you did not hear any subsequent gunshots going off as a result of your ears ringing?
Yes, no true, no value.
Yes, additional to that is the fact that I was shocked. Yes.
Now, if you don't want to comment because it doesn't speak to you about you directly, but it's evidence that's been led and I must test it. Now, the same Kayangwache that I've referred to, who is the son of the neighbors or of the Kumalos, testify in this court regarding what he heard and observed on the evening of the 26th of August 2014. Now, his testimony is that he came back from home from a music festival around 7 p.m. at night, that he went to his room in the house at the neighbors and started preparing for work because it was a Sunday, so he was going to work on a Monday.
What?
That at some stage he heard noise and sounds coming from the Kumalo household, and that he then went to check from his window to look into the Kumalo household as to what was happening. And as he is observing the Kumalo household, the kitchen side of the Kumalo household, on one of the small windows at the Kumalo household, he saw a gentleman or a person wearing a white t-shirt with his back against the window. And as he and his father went towards the passage in order to go outside to investigate as to what was happening, he heard a gunshot emanating from the Kumalo household. At that stage, he saw a person that we now know that is Mtokozi Sitwala, having had jumped into their yard. Now, what I'm putting to you is that in relation to that narrative by Kaya, going back to what irritates you, that there were no intruders in the Kumalo household that night.
Am I intruders?
Yeah, I don't know whether there's a correct inference and then put it as a fact to a witness.
Yeah, no, just
Let's leave it now.
unless you
Advocate.
rephrase,
Advocate.
because the way you're putting it,
Yeah.
it's like Kaya is making the assertion.
Kaya is?
Making that assertion which we're making.
But advocate, if umtoko ebalekele kamakhelwane,
Nonetheless, advocate,
If-
if Mtogo ran into the neighbor's yard,
angabalekela abantu ukuyibona njengo commenters abenze lento aphinda abuyile kulabo bantu. Ngifuna ukuthola lapho.
now I need clarity on that fact, or on that point. He's fleeing from people initially, and he runs into the neighbor's yard. Then at a later stage, he goes back to the very people that he was fleeing from. I just need clarity.
Yini abayibalekela kanti?
In an actual fact, what is it that he was fleeing from?
Mtogo has testified. You've said you don't speak about other people in your testimony. He's
Anjo wena
testified to
uthe
himself.
awukho
Yes.
umthokoke osethulile.
Wena bafaka advocate, nivalile kakha wayibuyisa futhi.
You are the one that is bringing them into these proceedings. I closed that one
Now-
and then you
Please,
reopened
please,
it.
please, let's make progress,
Yes,
please.
we are, my lord. Now, tell me something. What was the real reason that you came to visit Senzo Meyiwa that day, on the 25th? And you didn't arrive on the 25th, you came on the 26th.
Saso ephathini.
We were going to go to the party. You got it?
Eka Mahamutha, Roy Mahamutha.
We're going to go to a party in Sunning Hill. That would be Roy Mahamud's party.
And also, did you come here to facilitate some lobola negotiations or things for Kelly and Senzo?
Ayi, into engekho leyo angikaze ngalobola naphi ifana ukuthi kulotsholwa kanjani.
Nothing like that. I've never conducted the lobola.
Wayezongitshela uSenzo leyo nto ifuna ukwenza leyo nto.
Senzo would have told me if that would have been the purpose for me to come up to Joburg.
Kwakuzoba khona family member futhi lapho ngizobe ngisiwe ngedwa nje ngizolobola.
There would have been a family member. I wouldn't have been the only representative for that lobola.
Now, you testified that when you were loading Senzo into the car to take him to hospital, you actually got into the car so that you can pull him into the car because he was heavy and his feet were still outside the car.
Njalo kunjalo.
That is indeed so.
Now, Zandile Khumalo has testified about this aspect as follows, that in fact she's the one that got into the car through the front passenger seat got at the back and pulled Senzo into the car. What's your comment on that?
Noma uthi wayengilwa ngikabe namandla okumba umuntu efanele ngabe namandla okubamba into esinda kanjani ayitho wayengeke yedwa never.
Even if that would have been the truth from the statement of Zandile Khumalo, she would not have been able to can pull that person as heavy as Senzo. She wouldn't.
Now, we are on the last aspects, which are very few. Do you know perhaps if Zandile Khumalo, Kelly Khumalo, Makhumalo, Longwetwala attended the memorial service that was held for Senzo Meyiwa before his death?
Sorry.
Anginalo ulwazi laleyo nto ngikaze ngibabone mina.
I do not have a knowledge of that. I didn't witness them doing so.
And do you know further if the same people, Zandile Khumalo, Kelly Khumalo, Makhumalo, Longwetwala, had been to the Meyiwa family to go and, I don't think we've got the English word, I don't know it, to Tilisa, I'm not sure what it's called, to go and to have their condolences with them, to explain to them what happened to their son?
Anginalo ulwazi ke olungakanani ngaleyo nto. Kodwa uKheli bekafike lapha kanokuthula hlale noma ma 7 days.
Okay, look.
Bekafika vashela usisi kaSenzo Omdala lapha ePhoenix. Ahlale noma ma 7 days lapha.
I do not have a full knowledge of that, but there were instances where Kelly would visit the elder sister to Senzo in Phoenix before the passing on of Senzo, and she would be there for about the likes of 7 days.
Now, when you loaded Senzo Meyiwa in the car, was he conscious at the time?
I cannot explain that part of the occurrence. What I remember is that he was heavy.
My lord, if I may take instructions, then I'm on my lord. Thank you, my lord. I'm indebted. No further questions for me.
Thank you.